Complying with regulatory requirements is incredibly complex and time-consuming. How much of a challenge is it for businesses, Margery?
It is a huge administrative burden that almost every company has to grapple with. You have permits for every piece of equipment, for every operation, for your buildings. You have permits and regulations around people and how they act within that ecosystem. So you have tons of regulations and permits that have to be managed. It's the law.
I imagine there's a lot of legal documents and they're very difficult to understand. So how is your solution breaking it down and actually helping the process?
What we've done is trained our models on how to think like a compliance manager and get the output within seconds versus up to 80 hours to deconstruct, say, one air permit. If we have a new document type, like a safety data sheet, for example, it just takes 20 times for it to get familiar with that format and that syntax, and we're off to the races. We're training the algorithm to specifically provide output targeted at what the data needs to do for environmental health and safety and sustainability professionals. So we've trained the algorithm to read all these diverse document types, standards, regs, permits, etc., and provide outputs in 5 or 6, 10 different ways that probably help an environmental health and safety professional get in compliance way faster than if they had to do it by hand. So we're really training the output specifically for those use cases. So every company has permits. One oil and gas company might have 50,000 permits they have to manage a year, all done by hand. All the permits will be in slightly different format, will be written by different regulators, they'll have different structure and bullets. So we actually have a patent pending tool that can get any document, PDF, OCR, what have you, a document that's never seen the light of day, coffee stain on an angle, low DPI. We can read it, get it into a readable format, and then it goes through the algorithm and provides that requirements checklist.
How does it compare to the way it's done now? Let's just take accuracy. How accurate is the algorithm compared to a physical person doing it when it comes to breaking down those legal documents and ensuring that all of the requirements are met?
Now, we're faster and cheaper, that's a given, but also more consistent in interpretation, and that's just something that's been missing in our industry. Humans are inconsistent, and they're inconsistent in their errors as well. So we make sure nothing goes out, is delivered unless it's 95% up. We'll be 100%. The more documents we see, the more accurate we are. But we want to make sure that people still look at the output. It's still on them. So instead of taking 40 or 80 hours to deconstruct an air permit, we can now do it in a minute and a half. Why don't you take an extra 15 minutes, 5 minutes, and look at our output? So it's really a huge disruption in this consulting space.
How much of regulatory compliance do you think can be ultimately automated?
I think if we go with on the customer side, the corporate side, and on the government side, I would say almost 80% can be automated. So I am working with some governments looking at how we can get machine learning ready regulations out there right now so that we can have almost instant compliance.
You're focusing specifically in one field. Do you see that you could branch out, or are there other applications in other fields for this technology and this solution?
Yes, ehsAI is our first product on our platform. We hope to do other types of document types, major areas that are now deconstructed by hand overseas or in-house at great expense. So yes, we see a huge mountain of documents that we're going to digitize.
And of course, we're in Silicon Valley. Why is it important for you and for the company's roadmap to be here in Silicon Valley?
Everybody wants to come to Silicon Valley. It helps your valuation. It also gets eyes on your presentation on your company that you just wouldn't get in Canada. It's a perspective that is very unique to here because this is where it all started. So being able to take all these lessons learned and go home, revise my pitch, revise what we're doing, and then come back when we're ready for our Series A, we're going to kick ass.